Black Yellow Luffy just won a tournament in the West, but in the East, OP10, he's all but disappeared from the tournament scene. Why is that? Let's talk about it. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. Mobby here, and today I'm going to be giving you my personal deck profile for this Black Yellow Luffy that came out in ST13. Make sure to like and subscribe, it really helps out the channel. I upload daily duels and deck profiles for different anime TCGs. Alright, here we go guys. If you are just interested in the deck list, there's a link in the description to my website, mobbytcg.com. There I upload all of my deck profiles and proxies for all of my decks that I cover, including other TCGs. Alright, so here we go. As mentioned, this is going to be for anything OP10 and below. Alright, so really quick, what has changed since OP09? Nothing really. The deck is pretty much the same. It's tweaked to my personal ratios, but basically this is very similar to something that has won a lot of tournaments. Now looking at some of the Japanese tournament winners, there's only been about, since I'm recording this video, like 4 winners, and then the rest of them have been a lot of other ones. I think because either people are tired of playing these ones, this particular deck, or the other ones are just more fun and consistent. You know, it's really up to you to speculate. But let's go ahead and talk about this deck. I think it's still a really good one in OP10 in general. So this is it. We're gonna talk about every single card, starting with the leader. This is Luffy from Stardeck 13, 5,000 power, 4 life, black yellow. Now it has a couple of abilities here. The first one is your face-up cards are placed up. Your face-up cards are placed to the bottom of your deck instead of being added to your hand according to the rules. So anything that is face-up, it will just go straight to the bottom of the deck. Meaning if you trash it, or if you put it to your hand, or if you try to activate a trigger, it will just go to the bottom. Now, with 2 Dawn attached, you can activate this during your main turn. You can trash 1 card, then if you have 0 life, you can add 2 cards with 5 from your hand or trash to the top of your life face up. So you pretty much are healing, which is great, but remember, if you take a hit with those, it's going to go to the bottom of the deck. It's primarily used to put it on top and set up Luffy, Sabo, and Ace in order to activate them and power up your leader. So let's start with a GARP here. So this is your searchers of the deck, one of your searcher cards of the deck. So this is a 1/2/1, a yellow card. On play, look at the top 5. You can grab 1 Sabo, Ace, or Luffy that costs 5 or less. Then the rest go to the bottom. In this deck, you are running all of the 3 brothers. You have the 2 drops, and you have the 5 drops of all of them. So pretty much you absolutely 100% in this deck. It's kind of hard to pilot, but you definitely want to grab any one of the 2 drops because it's very easy to get the 5s in your discard in order to activate this ability. So you want to grab any of the little guys that you see. And of course you have priorities. You only have 2 aces in here. Sabo's primary your blockers, and then Luffy's going to be your attackers of the deck. So that's what you want to search for. That's what you want to prioritize depending on just what you need at the time. Now for some of our 2Ks here, we have Machino from Starter 13, 102. Here you can add 1 card to the top or bottom to your hand. Look at all of your life and place them in your life in any order. This is interesting. This will help you set up very early if you want to use your little guys to throw out one of the big ones. Remember, if you do this late game, you can't add this to your hand. You instead bottom deck it, but you can then there's no reason to do that later on. So this is only used early game in order to, you know, cheat out something very quick. I'm running 2 of these, but we have Charlotte Flampe here. So this is from EBO1 112, so another 2K here. On play, add the top or bottom to your life and drawing 1 card. It kind of plays the same as Machino here, except this one's really good for letting your leader get to 0, especially on the first round going. You usually don't want to use this if you already have life face up, because it'll just go to the bottom of your deck. But if you are on 1 life left and you have a really easy way to set up your life, and you feel relatively safe, you can go ahead and take the life into your hand. You can draw 1 card, and then you can set up with your leader ability. And if you have little guys on the board, you can go ahead and set them up. So flank play is really good for that. Now we have the second searcher of the deck. This is 3 Brothers Bond from Starter 13. Look at the top 5, grab a Sabo, Ace, or Luffy, 5 or less, and then you put it to your hand. It's basically GARP in the form of an event, and it also has a trigger. So the reason why I'm running 8 searchers, it's just super important to get any of those little guys that you need, because there's only 10 in the deck, and 2 of them are just these aces here. So 2-2-1, activate main, trash this character, so this guy has to be on the field for you, but it doesn't matter if it's active or if it's rested or even if it attacked. So you reveal one card at the top of your life. If that card is ace with 5, you get to play it. If you did, your leader gets 2,000 until the end of your opponent's next turn. Now, the whole deck revolves around making sure towards the mid to late game, you always cheat out at least 1 or 2 of the top of your life. So it's very, very risky playing this leader, staying at 0 life, and you really want to set up a lot of stuff. You can, depending on your matchup, you might want to rush down to 0 as soon as possible, either taking hits or using stuff like Flampe to, take some extra cards into your life. But basically, yeah, you want to have these on the board, and depending on the matchup, you either want to play it on the turn, or you can set it up the turn beforehand if you think your opponent doesn't have really removal, because let's be honest, these guys are really easy to get rid of. 2,000 power to cost, very easy to destroy. However, if you do, you set up the top of your life, it's really nice, it's not going into your hand, so you get to just play it right away, and getting the 2,000 power once means you're a 7,000, but if you do 2 in one turn, you are a 9,000 leader, so making you very, very tanky for some really good plays in the late game. So it's a really interesting deck to pilot, and you have to play this deck a lot in order to figure out the situations of when do you actually need to use it, or when can you just play your 5 drops regularly. Now we have these Luffys, running 4 of these. So same thing as Ace, trash this, so look at the top. If it's a Luffy, you play it and you get 2,000 power. Exact same sort of situations here. The aces are rushing. You have 8 Luffys. 4 of them on the board just help you, they're really strong on the board, and the other 4 help you KO on the board. And if you search for these, you want to find these right away and grab them, because it doesn't matter if your other Luffys or Sabos or Aces are in the trash, you can bring them back, no problem. And of course, the Sabo, same thing, 2-2-1, trash. Look at the top 5, look at the top for a Sabo. If it is, play in 2,000 power. Same deal, you just want to grab what you need, and there you go. So you have 10 little guys here. Next is Kuki Hiori, a really good 2K, like an amazing 2K. So 202. On play, you can go ahead and add the top or bottom to your life to your hand, then add 1 card from your hand to the top of your life. Now, you usually want to use this once again before you hit 0 the first time, so you can grab one of your face down lives, put it to your hand, and then set up one of your 5-drop brothers here. And it's nice because it goes face down too, so if anything, you can be a little cheeky and you can set up the 5-drop Luffy, so you can go ahead and activate its effect, or it's other stuff. So it's a really nice card. 2, 3, 4. So pretty much all of your TKs is just setting up your life. The Machinos are a little bit weaker in that regard, but they're here as a 2K, and it's all right. All right, next off, we have some Emporio Vankov. I say some, we have 1 here. It's from Starter 13. Now, a lot of tournament decks I've seen are running just 1 of these. 3-4-1. It has an 8 blocker, which could come into play, but they usually use it for the on play, which is trash the top or bottom of your life, reveal 1/5 from your hand, and add it to the top of your life face down. So trashing 1 is pretty bad if you're not already at 0 and went up to face up cards. If you end up using this in order to trash one of your face up cards when in turn it goes into the bottom of your deck, then you really set up your cards badly. But it is a sort of, oh my god, I need to get this specific brother out at this time. I already have 1 on the top. Well, I might as well trash it and grab something up. So this is it's pretty versatile, but it's not often you're going to see it, so that's why you're running 1 of these in here. Now, moving on to the brother card. So this is Ace. We're running 2 of these Aces because we have 2 of the little teenage ones. So 5-7-0 on play. If you have 2 or less life, there's Kane's Rush. Yeah, by the time you play these, you are going to have 2 or less. So there you go. Now we have Luffy. This is a 5-6-1. Activate main once per turn. This character gains 2,000 power until the start of your next turn, so making it 8,000, which is great. Then if you have 1 or more life, you draw 1, then you trash 1 from the top of your life. So yeah, this is pretty versatile. Once again, it's another one of the Luffys that you're going to be throwing on the board, and unfortunately it doesn't have an effect as soon as you throw it on the field, but next turn you're going to be able to buff it up, attack. It stays buffed until the start of the next turn, and you can go ahead and trash 1 from the top of your life, meaning bottom decking most likely from here. Okay, now for your other Luffys, and these are probably the best Luffys in the deck. 561, activate main, trash this character. If you have 2 or less life, KO a 4-drop, then you draw 1 card. So it trashes itself, you get to draw 1. If you cheat it out with the tiny Luffy, your leader is going to be 7,000. You remove something from the board, you get something back in your hand. Best case scenario, using this, it's going to be a random trigger that you see that you don't know that's set up. Or you leave one on the board, attack for 6,000 or more, then use its ability so you get some more benefit out of that. Now it's going to be another key card. Besides these Luffys, you want to see these Sabos throughout the whole game. Amazing from OP04. 561 has an 8 blocker for 6,000. That's pretty good. On play, your characters can't be KO'd by effects, which is, you know, relatively awesome. Then draw 2 and trash 2. So cheating this out with Sabo makes it so once again your leader is going to be 7,000. Then you have this blocker, pseudo attacker on the field. It's a really nice card. And you're running 4 of these. Now moving towards the late game, we're running some Kingdom Comes. These are pretty good for the deck. This is from EB01 with a 6-drop. So we activate this main, KO an opponent's character, then trash until you have 1 life card. So if you have 0 life cards, you don't trash anything. If you have 1, you leave it. If you have 2 or more, you're usually never using this when you have 2 or more, because you're going to be going down to 0 using this, and you're going to have, you know, cards face up. And if you end up using it when you have 2 or more face up, that card will definitely go to the bottom of the deck. But yes, Kingdom Come. So this is a really good card for the deck because, yeah, you are trashing, but you're using the late game, and it's only 6 in your deck. If you're cheating out and you have a good setup, you're throwing out the little 2-drop guys, and then you're gonna have a lot of Dawn left over to use something like this to KO Gecko Moria, a Big Mom, etc. So it's a really nice card. There's 3 of these, and the trigger is pretty decent too. KO a card equal to the total of you and your opponent's life. Using this, you're probably gonna be at 1 or 0, then your opponent might have 2 to 3, making it, you know, theoretically maybe you can trigger a 4 to 5 cost, because, you know, this is a trigger card. If you use it, it's probably going to be very early and you'll be able to kill something on the board. Time for the last card of the deck, and honestly the deck that makes this deck pretty amazing. If Gecko didn't exist, this deck would be really hard to use. OP06 Gecko 890. On play, choose a 4 and a 2 from your trash. Play 1 active, play 1 rested. Wow, so this is a pretty good card. Basically, you have to play around this a couple of ways. You can play it exactly when you have 8 or 9, but then you won't be able to use your leader's ability because you have to have 2 on it. So you have to set up the turn before, or play this when you have 10 Dawn. So you can play this, you can throw out a bunch of your little guys, and then you can throw out the Luffy, and then you can put 2 Dawn on Luffy, and then you can easily set up 4, because it doesn't matter, like every single one of your little guys are a 2 and 2, so you have to drop a 4 to 2. It doesn't matter which one comes in active, which one comes in rested. On a 10 drop, if you play this every single turn, it's going to be amazing. This is like one of the best plays you can do. So you set up beforehand if possible, otherwise you wait till 10 drop, right? Then you play Gecko Moria, you throw out, I don't know, 2 Sabos, 1 Sabo, and an Ace, whatever you need, the combos that you need, because at the time you play this, your trash is going to be ready to go. You throw out the little guys, you can trash them. Oh, sorry. You throw out the little guys, you put 2 on your leader, you put those guys on top, you put the 5 drops on top, then you use the little guys to throw out, and then your character's a 9,000 until next turn. Your opponent, you know, it's 9,000, which is strong. However, it's not too hard to swing over, so you have to be really careful. Maybe throw out 2 Sabos, and just make sure they can't swing over it. So this deck is a lot of piloting, and you need a lot of practice, but this one has a really high skill level for sure, and it really depends on your ratios. Like I saw some decks not even running those Machinos, they're instead running some Kuzans, because sometimes, you know, you got nothing to play, a 4-drop's fine. 4-drop's fine, and honestly it helps you with like KOing with this Luffy, so you can KO an 8-drop, etc. with the Kuzan plus that combo. Also with the Gecko Moria, you can play the 4 Kuzan for a draw, then a 2-drop little guy, etc. So there's a lot of stuff, so it depends. Maybe play this a little bit more, and if you don't like the Machinos, I really recommend removing them for the Kuzans, and maybe 1 less Kingdom Come, depending on the locals you go to or how many decks you see that you aren't really removing stuff. You might add in multiple Kuzans or even more Aces. So that's it, guys. Really tough deck, but it's really good. Once again, it's not seeing a lot of play in OP10. Maybe we'll see more when OP10 comes in the West, but right now in Japan and the East, we're not seeing this really in a lot of tournaments. So thanks for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.